He was hit 62 times. They said he was too small. They said he wouldn't last. But Bryce Young never stayed down. And now, with one of the greatest Panthers of all time in his corner, the narrative is shifting fast. There's something different about the silence right after a quarterback gets sacked. The crowd holds its breath. The team freezes for a beat, and the cameras zoom in, not on the defense that made the play, but on the man pulling himself off the ground. In Carolina, that man was Bryce Young, and in his rookie season, he was knocked down more times than any rookie should ever have to endure. 62 sacks, dozens more hits, and yet he always got back up. Luke Kuechly, the heart and soul of Panthers defense for nearly a decade, saw every one of those hits. And he saw something most people didn't: toughness. Not just the kind that bruises skin, but the kind that never lets you give up, no matter how bad things get. He got benched, Luke said recently. Not injured, benched. But he stayed locked in, came back, and finished the season strong. That's rare. That's special. That's the kind of grit coaches can't teach and defenses can't shake. Let's be honest, Bryce's journey so far hasn't been perfect. The first half of last season, rough. At times, frustrating, but the back half, there was growth, there was fight, there was a quarterback slowly figuring it out. And not once did he fold under pressure or blame someone else. He stayed in the film room, stayed on the practice field, stayed present. And now, it's year three. No more training wheels. No more excuses. This is the year where potential meets expectation. The critics, remember them? The ones who called him too small, too fragile, too finesse? They were loud in his rookie year. But Bryce answered them the only way that matters, by getting up every single time. And now, the most respected voice in Panthers history is backing him. Luke Kuechly doesn't hand out praise lightly. When he speaks, it's because he's seen something real, something durable. And when he says Bryce Young has both the mental and physical toughness to lead this team, that means something. Bryce isn't perfect. He will have bad games, but the great ones do. What matters is how he responds. And if the past two seasons are any indicator, we're watching a young quarterback who doesn't just play the game. He learns it, owns it, and comes back stronger each time. This season, Carolina isn't just betting on Bryce's talent. They're counting on his resolve. And if he builds on what he started last year, this team might just surprise everybody. The hits will come. The doubters will talk. But don't blink, because this time Bryce is ready to hit back. Every great sports moment lives in memory, but not every great team gets remembered. Not unless someone forces the world to look back and give credit where it's due. Recently, an ESPN article by Bill Barnwell took a bold swing, ranking the top 25 NFL teams of the 21st century, not just Super Bowl champions, but truly great teams. Teams that may have stumbled in the playoffs. Teams that made history in the regular season but never lifted the trophy. The kind of squads that were electric, unforgettable, yet often forgotten by history. And at number 19, sat the 2015 Carolina Panthers. The moment that name popped up, a wave of memories came flooding back. That wasn't just a good team, that was a movement. A team with swagger, with defiance, with a quarterback who danced and dabbed while steamrolling defenses. A team that went 15-1 and looked invincible. Until they weren't. Most rankings don't even bother with nuance like this. If you didn't win the Super Bowl, you don't get mentioned. But this list was different. It gave respect where others withheld it. And the 2015 Panthers, they absolutely earned their spot. Still, it begs the question, should they have been higher? Think about what that team actually accomplished. A defense anchored by Luke Kuechly and Josh Norman that made quarterbacks see ghosts. An offensive line that protected Cam Newton like he was royalty. And Cam himself? That year he was everything. An MVP, a force, a nightmare for defenders. He didn't just lead, he made people believe. And yet, somehow, this team still feels underrated. Why? Maybe because they didn't finish the story. Maybe because that Super Bowl loss left a scar so deep it erased what came before. But here's the truth. That 2015 squad was one of the most dominant teams of the last 25 years. Period. And it's time more people said it out loud. The list Barnwell created had some surprises, some you'd agree with, some you'd raise an eyebrow at. The 2000 Ravens sitting at 13, for example. A defense for the ages, sure, but an offense led by Trent Dilfer? That's not exactly fireworks. And then there's the Eagles debate. The 2017 underdogs, led by a backup in Nick Foles, versus the 2024 juggernaut stacked with talent. Which one deserves the nod depends on how much you value heart over roster. Personally, that 17 squad had magic in its bones. But back to Carolina. The respect from the list was a moment of validation, but it also opened another question. What happens next? Panthers fans aren't just living in the past, they're looking ahead, hungry for the next great team. And that brings us to something that really caught fire recently, a fan poll that posed a deceptively simple question. Who's going to lead the Panthers in receptions in 2025? Over half of the votes went to Tadaro McMillan, the young wideout with big expectations and even bigger potential. 55% of fans believe he's the guy, the one who'll become Bryce Young's go-to weapon. And that says a lot, not just about McMillan, but about the fans' hopes for the future. Adam Thielen came in at 27%, with rookie Xavier Legette sitting at 12% and Jalen Coker at 6%. And while some were surprised by the margin, especially Thielen being that low, it tells a story. The people want a new number one, a new star, a new identity for this offense. It's not a knock on Thielen or Leggett. It's about the hunger for someone new to rise. Someone who isn't carrying past baggage or aging legs, but fresh hands and a fearless mindset. Someone who can grow with Bryce, step for step. This poll wasn't just about numbers, it was about belief. And that belief is beginning to shift. Away from the past, away from Cam's shadow, away from what was, and toward what could be. So here's the real question now. Will the Panthers prove they're not just a nostalgic entry on some list, but a team that belongs in the top 25 again, this time for what they're about to do? Because in 2025, that possibility is real, and it's waiting to be written. What if the Panthers' top receiving duo in 2025 isn't who everyone thinks it is? The truth is, this wide receiver room is deeper and more unpredictable than it's getting credit for. And if you're only watching the headlines, you're going to miss the chemistry that's quietly building between two playmakers ready to flip the narrative. Script. We've talked a lot about Tadaro McMillan, and rightfully so. He's projected to be the guy, the WR1, the one defenses will scheme for every Sunday. But here's what I want to ask you now. Who's going to be the most dangerous duo? Not just who racks up the most solo stats, not just who gets the spotlight. I'm talking about who, together, will move the chains, stretch the field, and punish defenses week after week. Let's look at the options. McMillan and Thielen, McMillan and Leggett, McMillan and Coker, Thielen and Coker, Thielen and Leggett, Leggett and Coker. It's not a simple answer. SB Nation had McMillan and Thielen as the likely 1-2 punch based on their latest poll, but I think they're missing something. I can see McMillan leading the team in yards individually, but that doesn't automatically make McMillan and Thielen the most productive tandem. Yardage is about timing, chemistry, and momentum. And when I watch how these guys play off each other, I start to see a different picture. If you're asking me, my top three guesses go like this. McMillan and Leggett's physicality and YAC ability could be the perfect complement to McMillan's route running and separation skills. Together, they stretch the field horizontally and vertically. Thielen and Leggett, the veteran savvy of Thielen mixed with Leggett's explosiveness might just be the safest floor with surprising upside. McMillan and Coker, this might be my dark horse. If Coker gets going early, he might shock some people. And with McMillan drawing top coverage, it could open up plenty of space. That's where I stand. But what about you? And now it's time for Panther Nation to speak. Y'all know I love this part. I read your comments, I shout you out, and we have real conversations. Let's get to it. J. Manga Riera 2758, you said. Great show today. You got me fired up. I needed that. Hey man, I appreciate that more than you know. This is why I do it. For that energy. for that fire. Salute to you, my guy. Michael Hedge 8022 wrote, Miles Sanders looked like he didn't know the plays. No power, no speed. Panthers are better without him. I couldn't agree more. It was like he wasn't even engaged last season. For the money we spent, the return just wasn't there. Meanwhile, Chuba showed heart, hustle, and earned every carry. This offense doesn't need passengers, it needs fighters. And finally, from Black Angel Productions, and I'm warning y'all now, if you've got kids around, maybe turn the volume down. This one's wild. Chuba Hubbard is a freak on the field, worked his tail off. Meanwhile, Miles Sanders was limp and didn't produce. Not holding back at all. But hey, facts are facts. Chuba didn't just take that job, he kept it. And that tells you everything you need to know about the direction this offense is going. So here's what I want from you now. Do you agree with the comments we just went through? Where would you rank the 2015 Panthers among the best teams since 2000? And who do you believe will be the most dangerous duo in the Panthers' wide receiver room this season? Let's build the conversation. Drop your thoughts below, because at the end of the day, I'm just a skinny brother with two T's. But I know passion, I know football, and I know Panther Nation is the realest out there. Much love, take care, and as always, keep pounding.